And we are live. Welcome, mystery and thriller fans. I'm your on-air host, Sara DiVello, and I am so excited to be hosting the one and only Alice Feeney live from the UK today to tell us all about her red hot brand new book, Rock, Paper, Scissors. Alice, welcome to Mystery and Thriller Mavens. Tell us about this book.
Thank you for having me. What a lovely introduction. I'm very happy to be here and can't wait to chat all things books with you. Rock, Paper, Scissors is my latest dark and twisty thriller. And this one is about a marriage in trouble. When Adam and Amelia win a weekend away in the Scottish Highlands, they think it might be just what they need to sort out the problems in their marriage. But when they arrive at this beautiful converted chapel that they're renting for the weekend, the lights are out, there's no power, the doors are locked, and nothing is quite what it seems.
Nothing is quite what it seems in this book at all, Alice. And I can't wait to get into every single delicious detail. But first, I just want to welcome everyone who's watching us on Facebook, everyone who's watching us on YouTube, everyone who's watching us on Murder by the Book, on my channels, in our private Facebook group, wherever you're logged on from. Welcome. If you've been here before, you know how this goes. And if you're new, we're so happy to have you. Here's how it goes. Every Monday for Mystery Monday, because Mondays can be murder, but we're going to make them a little less painful, I give you my hand-picked authors, and you get to ask them anything. This is your time. So ask Alice anything about her dark and twisty books. Ask her about her writing process. Ask her about her brand new 16th century thatched cottage that she's just moved into. I know I want to know about it. Whatever's weighing on your mind, get it going in the comments, and I will get those right over to you. Gail is saying, hi, Sara and Alice. Gail, top community member, great to have you. She said, today's tea is fresh spearmint from our garden. How delightful. So, and how proper that we're having tea with our English guest who's broadcasting live from England. I am having an iced green tips today. So that is what I'm having because it's very, very hot and humid here. So let us know what questions you have. We're getting thumbs up from Facebook. People are a fan. Okay, it always takes me a minute or two to think of a question, or sometimes 3 a.m. 3 days from now. So I'll kick off first. So Alice, this book is a Crime Reads most anticipated book of 2021. Congratulations. Chris Whitaker raves. It is chilling and clever with a twist so sharp you'll get whiplash. Whoa. Rock, Paper, Scissors is the kind of blistering one sit read that Alice Feeney is just so incredibly good at. So although I'm no Chris Whitaker, I totally agree. So I love I love his choice of words, blistering. I love, because it is that. I love that he said a twist so sharp, because you're known for being twisty, Alice, dark and twisty, just how we like it here. But this one has a crazy twist. So I need to know, how do you come up with these crazy whiplash inducing twists? Give us the skinny.
Well, I tend to think about all of the books for a really long time before I commit to writing them. And I plot away and the cogs turn for a while, and I get to know the characters really well before I write a word. And then I tend to write all of my books in my garden shed. And if you were to see it, it looks like a kind of crazy lair belonging to a crazy lady or possibly a madman. But there are just charts everywhere and little colored cards everywhere. So I tend to know the whole story and all those twists, especially all the big twists, before I begin. And that's what helps me plot, and that's what helps me plant all the little clues for you to find, and for you to try and work everything out. And yes, it's quite a long process from beginning to end. And then I just always really hope that nobody guesses the twists before they're supposed to. But luckily, so far, not too many people have guessed the twist in this one.
No, I certainly did not. I did not see that coming. Christina Powers, bookstagrammer extraordinaire of A Politically Read Girl, saying, "Hey, Sara and Alice, Christina, welcome. Always great to have you. Thanks for popping on and joining us today." Now, Alice, so I'm getting flashes of A Beautiful Mind. That did anyone else see A Beautiful Mind where he was writing in the windows like a madman? Yes, and I do that too. I use those giant Post-it notes. But first of all, I need to know how long, when you said you think about these characters for a very, very long time, how long are we talking here? How long?
Well, I always think that books are like children in so many ways, but they're all very different, and they all behave in different ways, and they all misbehave in different ways. But I find that each of my books has taken a different length of time to write. The one that I've just handed in, which will be next year's book, was 5 years from the first seed of an idea to finished book. So yes, they're all different. Rock paper scissors was a little bit faster than that. Rock paper scissors was much faster than that. But they all just take their own sweet time. And I think you find as a writer, you know when you're ready to write the book. You know when the characters have made themselves at home inside your head, and they just want you to write their story. And hopefully, you do their stories justice.
I love that. So, how long did rock paper scissors take?
Rock paper scissors was about a year, really. I remember the day when I had the idea. So I guess I first had the initial idea in 2018, and we were driving up to Scotland in a really terrible storm. It's called the Beast from the East, and everyone in the UK would know that you shouldn't leave the house when there's a snowstorm that bad. But I was desperate to go to Scotland. I'm totally in love with the Scottish Highlands, and I really wanted to go on this trip. So we drove up in the storm, and we arrived at the property. And this will start to sound familiar to you very soon. The lights were out. There was no power. We couldn't get in. And when we finally did get in, it was a beautiful property on the edge of a loch, surrounded by a vast valley, no neighbours except for a few sheep. And it was lovely, but a little bit creepy. And then later that night, just as we were about to go to bed, having had no food, a little bit scared of the storm, couldn't leave because the snow had blocked us in, a face appeared in the window. And I was so scared, and I screamed, and the dog started barking. I don't know if you can see him behind me. He's snoring gently in the background, which is very good. It was a really terrifying moment. And in real life, that just turned out to be a really kind caretaker who was worried about us. But this terrifying moment sparked the idea for rock, paper, scissors, and it grew from there. And it was an idea that just kind of kept growing and growing and wouldn't leave. And then the characters became very formed in my head. And then I just had to write their story. And a year later, we returned to Scottish Highlands and we stayed in a converted chapel. And that was where everything came together in my head. And I knew I had to write this book.
Is the dog's name Bob?
My dog is not called Bob, but as you know, there is a black Labrador in this book, and he definitely has a cameo role in this novel. But I'm pleased to say he hasn't let it go to his head yet. So it's all good.
Your dog has a cameo?
Well, I think there's definitely inspiration in terms of the black Labrador, and definitely, I won't try not to give anything else away.
So the character of Bob, the dog, is not based on your dog.
Yeah, no, he is.
Oh, he is. Okay, I thought you were talking about another.
But only in small ways. In that my dog, like Bob, is terrified of feathers and would make a terrible guard dog because all he would ever do is lick someone to death. That's as bad as it gets with him.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So driving in a bad storm, staying in a creepy old
converted chapel. Yeah.
A creepy old converted chapel. Was there a crypt that turned wine cellar? I mean,
no, but there was a creepy wardrobe, and the wardrobe in the chapel really scared me. And in my imagination, I kept thinking that there were secret stairs that went down below, which there weren't. But it is funny how these things that happen in real life somehow then just like expand into something far darker than I've ever experienced in real life.
Wow.
But yes.
Oh my God, staying in a creepy converted chapel. I'm like already amazed / scared, Alice. I would have been like, you know what? I'm going to sleep in the car, as Amelia and Adam do consider doing, because, but then they don't. Oh my God, this is so funny. I'm making sure. Christina is saying congratulations on the September Book of the Month choice, Alice.
I know, I'm so thrilled. There are so many secrets in this job. Nobody tells you before you become an author that you have to keep so many secrets. I knew for a little while and I wasn't allowed to tell anyone, but I'm so happy. I'm over the moon. It's brilliant.
Congratulations. This is
Thank you.
absolutely fantastic and a huge honor. I mean, think about how many books come out every day, every month. This is huge. I'm going to drop the link to the comments. I'm going to drop the link to the announcement in the comments, so that anyone who wants to see it can click over after this interview. Don't go away. We're here. But this is such a huge honor. So Alice, what other secrets have you had to keep?
Well, obviously, if I shared them, then I wouldn't be able to keep them anymore. I have had a few secrets in the last few months, which I get so excited, and then I want to tell everybody straight away. But one of them that is not a secret is that Rock Paper Scissors is going to be adapted for television by Netflix, which is just, again, dream come true stuff. I never write the books thinking in terms of a television adaptation, but I confess for this one, maybe because of lockdown and I was watching so much Netflix, I was like, God, I'd love it. Wouldn't it just be amazing if I could see these characters come to life on screen? But because I secretly really wanted it to happen, when I received the email from my agent, which said, in a very casual way, by the way, Netflix would very much like to adapt this for television, and it's the producer of The Crown, I don't know if you've heard of that show, who would like to adapt it. And I read this email and I thought, oh my God. And I thought, I've lost it. I've lost my remaining marbles because this is too good to be true. I must be hallucinating. And I closed my laptop. I took the dog for a walk, which is what I always do, and I think perhaps I'm losing my marbles. And I came back from the walk and the email was still there. So that was a really lovely, amazing secret I had to keep for a while. And now I'm allowed to talk about it, which is wonderful. But I am thrilled to bits. I can't wait to see the characters come to life on screen.
Oh my God, this is so exciting. So Alice, are you mentally, first of all, do you get to be involved? And are you mentally casting it? Are you like, so I see Adam as Javier Bardem or whoever and I see Amelia as, I mean, are you casting it? Who are these? You said you were watching a lot of TV. We all were. So you must have been envisioning, give us the skinny.
So the producers are lovely. So Suzanne, who did The Crown and also did the adaptation of, I don't know if you know, Behind Her Eyes, which was just an amazing book and an amazing TV adaptation. I love them both, by wonderful Sarah Pinborough. And so my book could not be in safer hands. These guys really know what they're doing. And we had an initial Zoom because of the pandemic. And then we met up in London for the first time face to face. And I love everything they're going to do with this book. It's going to be set in Scotland. I can't tell you, secrets. I can't tell you the casting yet, but it's amazing. And it'd be exactly who I would have dreamed. And they're just the best people to work with, Suzanne and Hannah, both lovely, lovely people who really get the book and are going to do the most wonderful things with it that I just can't wait to see. And yes, I'm going to go to Scotland for some of the filming. I can't wait.
Oh my God, this is so exciting, Alice. I'm so excited. This is fantastic.
I know, me too.
Yay! Okay, Charlotte, welcome. Great to have you. She's saying congratulations, Alice. She said she will definitely read the book first. So, so there's two ways to watch, isn't there? There's if you read the book first and then you watch the show and you think, oh my gosh, that isn't how I picture her, or that isn't how I picture, that's not my Adam, or that's not my Amelia, or that's not my Robin, or whatever. That's not my Bob, right? It could be Bob the dog. And then there's some people who watch it first and then read it and think, and then only see those people in their head. So this is, and I personally sometimes do both. So for those, and I always read the book. So for those I just want to remind everybody, today's your day to grab the book. I am putting the link in the comments. You can grab your copy, support independent bookstores, support our favorite independent bookstore, Murder by the Book. Grab it now, y'all. Grab it now. And it has a fabulous new release little banner. It's very exciting. They're going to fly off the shelves because it is the book of the month. So grab it, click it. You want this book. So Alice, your book is also, I mean, Crime Read said this one has already been optioned for Netflix, but I would encourage everyone to read it before it heads to the screen. The two dovetail Adam and Amelia toward an explosive conclusion that leaves us with just enough ambiguity to linger in the reader's mind long after finishing. So on the note of TV versus book first, the Crime Read is saying, read the book now. Congratulations on that rave review. Again, one of many. So Alice, let's talk about how you said earlier you don't want people to guess on page 3. You don't want people to figure it out. And this is something that I am always so fascinated by from a craft perspective, because of course on page 3, you don't want people to be like, it was the butler, but you don't want them to get to the last page and be like, there was a butler, what butler? So how do you leave a breadcrumb trail that keeps us entranced, keeps us reading, but doesn't give it away, but doesn't make us frustrated at the end? How do you balance all those factors?
You've got to become really good friends with the butler. And I try to write the kind of books that I love reading, and I quite like it when I think I've guessed, and then I get a little bit further and go, oh no, I thought it was this, and now it's this. And so I like to try and take the reader on a kind of a roller coaster ride with me, one that's going to be a little bit twisty, a little bit turny, a little bit turning you upside down and changing your perspective on things a few times. But hopefully by the time we've got to the end of the ride, we'll have all had a good time together. But it's just about, for me, planting those seeds, because it should always be fair. I don't like it if I read a book and I get to the end and go, well, you could never have guessed that. I love it when some people have gone back and said the clues were there, and yes, they were. And so yes, for me, I always want to do something different with every book, because I find that otherwise, if readers are kind enough to read more than one of my books, I don't want there ever to be a formula or a pattern. So if you've read my other books and you think, oh, this sounds a bit like something else, I promise you it's not. I promise you that there will always be something a little new in there for you to find, and a few more twists to keep you on your toes.
A few more twists to keep us on our toes. Indeed. Welcome, Sybil. Welcome, Jen. Great to have y'all here. Thanks for tuning in. Let us know if you have any questions for Alice as well. Again, this is your time. So I have a private Facebook group for mystery and thriller fans, free and open to all. And in case you missed the news, everybody, I am doing a giveaway of Rock, Paper, Scissors. So you can win a copy of this book, or you can buy a copy of this book and support Murder by the Book. So if you want to join my Facebook group, I'm going to drop the link in the comments. Charlotte would like to know, since the dog is, I love dog questions. Pelu, my co-host who's snoozing away at my feet, any dog questions are getting extra points. Charlotte says, since the dog is somewhat based on your dog, any of the characters have some of you in them? Ooh, Charlotte, good question, because some of these characters are kind of devious.
I remember when we recorded the audiobook for this, and I had been working on a different book. And so because of the pandemic, normally I'd be in the studio, but I was at home and the narrators were recording on Zoom. And so we were all sort of together, but not together in the same room, if you like. And I found the book a little bit frightening, if I'm honest. Richard Armitage, who narrates the book, can do a really good creepy voice. And I found myself sitting there thinking, this is really frightening. And I thought, what a ridiculous way to feel, because I wrote it and I know what happens. But the character that he was narrating, Adam, is a writer. He doesn't write books. He's not an author. He's a screenwriter. But I did find, as I was listening to the recording of the book, there are definitely some things that I have in common with Adam in terms of the writing. He writes in a shed, the way he feels about the writing sometimes. And I think all writers feel the same way at certain times. There are good days for writing, there are less good days for writing. So there are certainly a few things like that. Otherwise, No, I hope I don't have too much in common with my characters. I think when people meet me in real life in at events or festivals, they always seem quite surprised by what I'm like in real life, or they presume I'm a children's author. But just because I write dark and twisty, I promise I'm quite nice in person in real life.
So, okay, cool. And so, so in the Facebook group, I allow people to submit questions in advance, and I absolutely loved this one. Which of your character or characters would you most like to be stranded on a desert island with, and why? I thought that was such a brilliant question. I love that.
Characters from this book, I guess Bob. Obviously, I want to be stranded with Bob the dog. But
Yeah,
if I have to
good
choose
choice.
if I have to choose a human companion, I'm really rather fond of Robin. I find her fascinating. I really liked hanging out with her too. In my head, I mean, there've been different characters that I've written over the last few years, and they're not all fun to hang out with in my head. I'm for example, a very slow and steady driver. I take my time when I'm driving. I'm very polite. I always let people do what they want to do, and I just potter along, and it's all very nice. I listen to the radio. And there was a character in a previous book. She was very angry with the world. She was very angry most of the time with most things. And while I was writing her, I had road rage for the first time. I'd never had road rage before, and I was very angry. And I didn't even know where the horn was on the car. And I was driving on, going, "Where is it? Hoot hoot." And as soon as I finished writing that particular character, I went back to driving like a little old lady again, which is how I normally drive. So no, I they're all different, but from this book, if I had to be on an island with someone and it wasn't allowed to be Bob, then I'd hang out with Robin because I think she's very interesting.
So I think Bob is definitely a good choice. I was only thinking, I was self-limiting, big mistake. I was thinking of the human characters, but of course Bob would be the best because he could alert you if there was danger coming. He could snuggle with you and keep you warm at night. He would be such a good companion. Bob the dog would be lovely. Stephanie, welcome. Great to have you. Hey Stephanie, my new Facebook friend Stephanie. She said, "I want to be with Robin too. Robin and Bob."
Robin and
Stephanie,
Bob all the way. Yeah.
Robin and Bob all the way. I think that's a solid choice. Charlotte is saying, of course, Bob. She's team Bob. Stephanie is saying, this book absolutely blew my mind. I love all of your books, but this one is the best so far.
That's
Stephanie,
very
tell us.
kind. Thank you, Stephanie.
Yay, that is very kind. Stephanie, tell us what you're loving about this one in the comments, because Stephanie reads a lot I'm seeing on Facebook, and she writes great reviews. So Stephanie, tell us what you love about it. What's making it the best? Oh, she's saying that she was your Facebook winner. Thank you.
Oh, good.
Yay.
You're
Oh, how
welcome.
Yay, fantastic. So great to have you here, Stephanie. Okay, Charlotte would like to know, what books or authors do you read, Alice?
Ooh. Lots. I've always been a bit of a bookworm. Even when I was a very small child, I would disappear inside books in one way or another. And what am I reading at the moment? I can see it from here. It's a book. It's brilliant. It's a brilliant book. 56 Days by Catherine Ryan Howard, which it's basically set in the pandemic. She wrote it very quickly, and it is absolutely wonderful. And I remember reading about it and thinking, do I really want to read a novel set in the pandemic? Yes, you do, is the answer, because this one is brilliant. So no, I'm really, really enjoying that. I tend to read all kinds of books and all kinds of genres. I don't just stick to crime and thrillers, but I do read a lot of those too. And I also quite like some of the old ones, oldie goodie ones. And I'd quite like dipping into an Agatha Christie from time to time.
Ooh, Agatha Christie, I love that. I am putting the link to 56 Days by Catherine Ryan Howard on Alice's recommendation in the comments. So you can grab a copy of the book that Alice is reading. We could have a little book club with Alice. She could be, giving us all sorts of cool authorial insights. I absolutely love that. Alice, another of the reviews that I loved said, Kirkus said, this complicated gothic thriller of dueling spouses and homicidal writers is cleverly plotted and neatly tied up. So what I loved about about the Kirkus review is that, and what I loved about the book is that it is about spouses. So as someone who's married to a male, I can say the way that I see things is so different sometimes than he does. And so what I loved is, you're reading along. So you open with Amelia, and at first you're like, man, Adam's kind of a self-obsessed ass. Like he's just an ego, he's just so self-important, and he thinks he's, better than us or something. And his work is so important because he's a screenplay writer. And then you're seeing it from Adam's point of view, and then you're kind of like, wait, maybe, and Amelia rescues dogs. I mean, what could be lovelier than that? And we're all dog people here, so we're like team Amelia. But then you pull the carpet out from under us, Alice, because maybe Amelia, has some things we did not suspect at first. So I loved how you played with, the he said, she said of marriage. And I loved how you, how two people can be in the same room, the same car, the same storm, the same abandoned rehab, converted chapel, and things are so different to each of them. I thought that was absolutely fantastic. Okay, I asked Stephanie a question. I said, "What did you love? What did you feel about this book was better than all of Alice's?" And she wrote a really great answer. I'm going to pop it up just for a second. I didn't know what was happening. She said, "All of the unknowns. I theorized about everything constantly from the very first page when I read it, which is annoying sometimes because I wanted to discuss with someone and tell them all my theories." Samantha Downing had read this one already, so I was messaging her all along my journey as I read it. And she was laughing at my crazy theories, and they were all wrong. This was my favorite part, the jaw drop at the end, and then the drop again and again. So Alice, when you're in your garden shed and you're beautiful minding it all over the walls, so you plot it all out to the nth degree. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, yeah, I do. I think for me, it's quite organized in most ways,
Okay.
possibly freakishly organized. But for me, the idea of starting the book without knowing exactly where I would be going would be like taking the dog for a walk and getting lost and just spending the entire time worrying about where we're going and if I'm going to find my way back. So I'm someone who needs a map. Someone who likes to plan everything and know where I'm off to. And there are things that sometimes change during the writing process. Sometimes the characters will have their own thoughts and ideas about where this story should be going. So occasionally a few things do, you might take a little side road off here or a little country lane down here, but you always end up in the place, or I always end up in the destination that I started off within my mind. So yes, I think it's really good. Everyone does it differently, and there are writers who I know very well who would never do it this way, and I think it's much more fun to sit and literally make it up as you go along. But for me, there's no right or wrong way. You just got to do it how it works for you. And for me, I'm definitely a planner.
Okay, so when you're a planner, and I love that you said that sometimes the characters want to take a side trip. So they're like, Alice, pull over. There's a two-headed snake. I got to see that. Or Alice, I want to go frolic in that field of flowers or whatever. What was an unexpected detour that a character took you on in this journey of this book?
Robin definitely has more to say. Editing as I go in case I give anything away. Robin has more to say than I think I initially thought she was going to have to say. She has a bit more in terms of her chapters. So that was really interesting. And there were definitely little creepy things that happened during the writing process. There's a scene where Adam and Amelia have stepped outside the property for a moment and they have climbed up a hill, because why wouldn't you? If you're in the beautiful Scottish Highlands and you have a view of all these wonderful mountains and lochs and beautiful snow-covered hills everywhere, but then they might see something that is quite terrifying, I think. And that came out of nowhere. That was one little moment that came out of nowhere during the writing process. So there are always little bits and bobs that come along, and you have these little eureka moments as you're sitting tapping away in your shed, if you're me, with the blankets and the dog, and sometimes even the heater blowing away. You know those really old-fashioned little blowy out heaters? I have to have that by
Yes.
my feet. I find my feet get really cold when I write, and if my feet get too cold, I can't write anymore. I don't know why. It's just a weird, quirky thing that happens with me. So the heater's blowing away, the dog's snoring, and I'm sitting there and I just go, oh, that would be wonderful. And then your fingers just start tapping away, and they have a mind of their own, and the words are appearing on the screen. And sometimes you read it back later and you think, no, that's garbage. I've lost my marbles again. But sometimes you read it back and you think, no, that's perfect. I'll leave that where it is. Thank you, book genies doing your own magical things.
Yes, exactly. Book genies doing your own magical things. I love that. And I have that feeling of that, how much am I in control, and genies, please come visit more often. Because sometimes they don't show up for work and I'm like, hello, am I the only one
You need
who's
to
arrived?
leave out cookies and a glass of milk. I find that
Ooh,
works.
okay.
It's a bit like Father Christmas. All these kind of same little things. You leave it out, and the genies, they come along, and it'll all be good.
Okay. So biscuits and milk for
Yeah.
Father Christmas and book genies.
Yeah.
Welcome Kathy with a K. Welcome Kathy with a C. Two Kathys, great to have you. Welcome Tessa, great to have you all here. Stephanie is saying that she absolutely loved capitals. The ending of this book, it was so perfect, absolutely brilliant, best ending yet. Stephanie, amazing praise. Thank you for that. So Alice, you said that sometimes they take you on detours, but they end up at the ending that you wanted. So this ending that Stephanie says is so brilliant. It's your best ending yet. So they took you on some detours, the view of the locks, up the mountain, what they saw, but they ended up where you wanted them to be. So when did you think of this absolutely brilliant, in the words of Stephanie, ending? Did you see it right away and you're like, I got to get them from the storm and the crypt with the wine cellar crypt? I got to get them from the converted chapel turned hotel to this ending? Or did the ending evolve as you wrote, thanks to the book genies that you lured with your cookies and milk?
Yeah, this was always going to be the ending. And sometimes I find when I'm writing, I think, is this the right thing? Is this okay to do this? I never really write 100% sure of myself. And it's always still a challenge for me when I have to send a final book. Or basically, I won't talk about the books with anyone until I finish writing them. It's one of my strange little quirky rules. So I don't talk about them with my agent, with my publisher, nobody. The dog sometimes, but he's really great at keeping secrets. So when I hit send on a novel that sometimes I've been working on for years in secret, I'm always terrified in case it doesn't work, or in case it isn't how it is in my head when they read it. So that part is always quite frightening. But no, it does kind of, it tends to be the same as it was when I first had the idea most of the time. And then I have these wonderful agents and publishers, and I'm so lucky I get to work with the best bookish people in the known universe, and they all help me to polish it and make it better and have ideas of their own which make it better. And I'm just really lucky, really. I get to work with all the best, coolest people.
Oops, I was having
Ooh,
a technical issue. That was so weird. I'm back. I
it was
panicked.
the genies. It was the genies.
You know why, Alice? Because I didn't leave cookies out. I didn't know about this cookie rule. Now I feel terrible. I've been neglecting my genies, and clearly they ain't happy because they just cut my feed. so so I will be going to get them cookies, a platter, a veritable feast.
Chocolate chip, I
In
find works best. Yeah.
Coincidentally, that's also my favorite.
Yeah.
Welcome, Margaret Pinard, joining us from Oregon. She says this is such a good rule. So, so not talking about this. I also don't like to talk about it. It's almost like you don't want to jinx it, do you?
Yeah.
So do you? So you don't ask for feedback. You don't share it with anybody until it's completely done.
I write the whole thing. I normally do 3 drafts before I let anyone read it at all. Then I let my husband read it. He's always my first reader. So for books like this, where it's about husband and wife, that's always really good fun. And while he reads the books and worries that maybe it's about us, which it isn't, my mother-in-law is reading the book right now. And so there are various text messages about, I'm on page 50. I'm very worried about my son. Is he okay? So so there are a few issues when you write about a husband and wife and your wife with a husband. But no, I let my husband read it first, and we go through all of that, which is sometimes fun. And then I will send it to my agent, and then I take it from there. And I'm always really scared when I send it to my agent. It could just as well be the first time I'm sending a book to an agent. It hasn't gone away, the fear. And luckily for me, they are all brilliant and they read super fast. Like, reading is possibly their superpower. It's just super fast reading. And then I get a reassuring phone call and all is well. And I know that it's okay to send the latest book baby out into the world.
So I am thinking that your husband probably should be scared. I mean, to be honest, to be fair, if I was your husband, I would be, buying body armor. I would be taking self-defense classes. If I was your mother-in-law, I would be donating all my red dresses. I would just be like, get the charity bag, anything red, just like get it out of here. Stephanie is saying she is laughing out loud. She loves your mother-in-law. That is fantastic. That is so funny. Margaret saying reading superpowers. I mean, those fast readers. Yes. Jennifer is saying it's hard not to read your book fast. Jennifer, right? Welcome, by the way. It's hard not to just buzzsaw through them because you get to the end of the chapter. You think, well, I can't leave off here. Like I've got to read just one more page or one more chapter, but then she sucks you into another 10. I'm sleep deprived thanks to Alice. Alice, send coffee. When you put the cookies out for the book genies, send coffee as well. Oh my gosh, I just realized we're over time. So everybody, lightning round, 3 minutes. Last questions for Alice. Stephanie saying her husband and his mother would be horrified if they were readers of the books that she does. She's obsessed with domestic thrillers. I think it's like a healthy fear, though. The dishes are going to get done in Stephanie's house and in Alice's house. Also, foot massages will be dealt out. Welcome, Rebecca. Great to see you. Good to have you. Alice, what is one thing you want people to leave your book having felt, having learned, having experienced?
I think it's that roller coaster feeling. I want us to feel like we've gone on this twisty turny ride together. And I really want readers to find something new in the books. I want them to engage with the characters and hopefully meet characters that they haven't come across before. I like there to be a small challenge. I think we're all so quick to judge people and judge other new people in our lives. So I guess I always like you to meet the characters and form maybe an initial opinion of them, and then get a little bit further, get a little bit deeper, turn a few more pages and question your own judgment about the characters you're meeting. And I guess I always do like a twist or two. I can't imagine that I would ever write a book that didn't have a little sneaky twist in there somewhere.
A twist or 2 or 10, Alice Feeney, the queen of the twist. I'm just posting a few more of your amazing rave reviews here in the comments so that everyone can peruse this and get even more excited about this fantastic book. Again, I want to remind everyone that you can grab your copy of this book, the book of the month. Alice Feeney, congratulations. You can grab it today. Support independent bookstores. As you may or may not know, everybody, about one independent bookstore a week has gone out of business since the pandemic descended, which is tragic and completely avoidable. So Put your money where your mouth is, literally. Shop local, support independent businesses, support women-owned businesses. Murder by the Books is owned by a woman, Ms. McKenna Jordan. So shop local and support women-owned businesses and support independent bookstores so that when we come out of this pandemic, we have bookstores to browse and pages. Does anyone else like to smell books, or is it just me? Smell the, wander the aisles and smell books and grab a cup of coffee and browse. And it's what we're going to want. So support those businesses now when they need us. Sylvia saying, great fun, this discussion. Sylvia, so great to see you here. Welcome. Thank you for being here. As always, a delight to have you. Stephanie is saying, what? So sad. Yes, Stephanie, one independent bookstore a week. And think about how many weeks in, we're many, many, many weeks in, has gone out of business, has permanently closed their doors. So I know we all love free shipping and love a deal, but sometimes there's extra $3 or $4, which, isn't a big deal to many of us who are blessed to be able to be in that position, is worth it. Pay for shipping and shop local, friends. That's what we do. Jennifer saying, I didn't think I could be more excited to read this, but I am after this event. Okay, Jennifer, #day made, month made. You're amazing. Thank you for saying that and for being here with us today. Margaret is saying, shop local is where it's at. I love this mission. Margaret, you're a woman after my own heart. Thank you as always for being here. She said, smelling old books is a lottery. Oh my God, I love the smell of old books. Michelle is saying, great interview. Michelle, great to have you. Welcome. Good to have you. Charlotte saying, thank you for this. Welcome, everybody. It was so great to have you. This has been so much fun. And again, I want to remind you that I'm doing a giveaway in my private Facebook group, which is free and open to all. So you can win a copy of this book and you can support independent bookstores. You can buy it. So lots of fabulous options. Stephanie is saying, Jennifer, you're in for a snack. Yes, she is, a tasty snack. Alice Feeney, thank you for joining us live from the UK, across an ocean, united in our love of thrillers. Thank you for giving us the red hot scoop on rock, paper, scissors. And when your next book comes out, you've got to come back and chat with us again.
I would love to. It's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you all for being here. And I will see you tonight at 7 and 8 p.m. with Rachel Housel Hall and Matthew Fitzsimmons. See you guys then.